So a common objection you'll get when you sell final expense burial insurance is, I'm going to donate my body to science. Well, if you're going to donate your body to science, is there a need for final expense insurance? And my goal in today's video is to answer that question and teach you how to navigate around when you will invariably hear that objection. My name is David Duford at davidduford.com, where I help insurance agents like you become top producing insurance professionals. Thanks for watching. So I'm going to donate my body to science. Is that a reason not to do business today? No. What you have to do is get a little crafty, think a little bit on your feet, and come up with alternative ways that maybe aren't as direct as a burial insurance policy in order to justify the reason to have some sort of life insurance coverage. So what we're going to talk about are a couple of things to consider, to question for your client, just in case they're sure they want to go through this donation to science approach. And then I'm going to go over a couple of strategies that are outside the realm of final expense that you can try to employ in order to build need and build value for a conceptual reason to have insurance. So the first thing is to think again. Our clients, many times that we see in the final expense field at least, say they're going to donate their body to science, but they've never actually arranged anything. They just kind of say it as a throwaway term, and they'll get around to it eventually, right? But there are two circumstances where I think I would question their intentions in order to lead you into building value for something other than just a burial insurance policy. The first one would be disease. So a lot of the body donation aggregators, I guess for a lack of a better word, they don't allow you to be donated your body if you have a communicable disease, hepatitis, HIV, anything that can be transferred to somebody else. They will not allow you to do it. So if you got somebody who has that and they say that, it's time to flat out tell them it's not going to happen. Print off a page online. You can do a little cursory research and find out this is typically the case across the board. The other angle I'll throw in there is the family question. So what do you want your family, what do you think your family's going to do? What have you had as far as a discussion with your family? Do you really think they're going to be okay giving your body away and not having a traditional funeral service? Maybe they will be, maybe they won't be. But the point is that a lot of our prospects don't think through the entirety of the situation, so they may not consider what the family thinks. So one strategy I always like to use is when somebody says, I don't know if I want to be cremated or buried, and this is kind of along the same lines, is I say, well, what would your daughter do with you? And she said, well, she wouldn't let me be cremated, she'd be buried. So let's plan for a burial, right? So it's kind of the same context here in looking at what the family would actually follow through with. So I think those things right there, in certain circumstances, can open the minds of prospects to look at other reasons to own final expense life insurance. So the thing you got to do is build need for something other than to pay for the burial or the cremation or the specific final expense related to the funeral. So what can we do besides just simply going after the obvious approach? Well, the first thing we can do is fact find to see if they have existing life insurance coverage. Just because they say they're going to be donated to science, their body at least, doesn't mean they don't already own life insurance, okay? There may be a specific need why they own life insurance, and if you end the call before getting further on, maybe you find out they have an overpriced company named after American president, and you could have replaced that and doubled their coverage or added 50% coverage or given first day coverage where they weren't qualified for it. So we want to continue the conversation beyond that objection, if you will, and then fact find to see if there's other opportunities for improving upon the client's the client's policy. The next thing you want to do, and you should be doing this anyway, is to also make sure that you ask questions that build value for reasons other than paying for funeral expenses that own life insurance. So two notes here. One would be income replacement. This is especially useful if you have a spouse in a married couple situation where one person derives a large income, the other not so much, maybe they're a homemaker, right? And if he dies, in this case, typically it's the man, he's had the job, the pension, not always, but that's the case. many cases, it would make more sense to get more insurance on him, because she going from, let's say he makes $3,000, she makes $500. Him going from $3,500 to $30,000 is a lot more painful than going from $3,000 to $500. Okay, so the angle I use is, why don't we look at getting coverage on him? Sure, you're going to donate your body to science, but our programs have the ability to leave a lump sum payment to you that you can do anything with. You can pay your mortgage, make sure it's current. You can pay off expenses that may occur that everybody has when they pass away, and really just give you a little nest egg so that you're going to be a little more comfortable than if you hadn't, right? And that's a very appealing concept, at least to the spouse with the lower income, because they're not going to be in a good situation. And then the other thing you may want to consider too is also selling the concept of just generic final expenses. So kind of related to the income replacement, but also, what about other expenses? Maybe you're going to sell the house when you get out, or maybe you got to move out and you need to raise some money. Well, life insurance policy doesn't have to be a big one. It can be a small one. It can help accommodate for some of those expenses that come along that aren't related to burial or cremation, but are final expenses that will help transition the surviving spouse or surviving people, maybe it's kids, to a more comfortable process. So I say all this with the idea that don't get sidetracked with the objection rebuttal, I'm going to donate my body to science. There are opportunities, not always, but there are opportunities for sales of life insurance, for final expense sales. You just need to make sure, the big takeaway lesson here is to progress the conversation. Don't get shell-shocked when you hear this. You will if you haven't already. Know what to say, acknowledge it, ask them why, ask them some of the questions. Have they done the preliminary stuff at least? And then go into more value building to see if there's opportunities to replace existing coverage or possibly sell another reason why to own final expense insurance. I do hope you enjoyed this training on how to deal with this objection. If you like these kind of videos, please subscribe, comment below. If you've got ideas for any kind of training that you want to see, I try to do a couple of these extra videos every week where I address questions, like this one was from an agent of mine. So please leave in the comments below or just message me at daviddufour.com/contact. I'll be happy to custom create a training for you that hopefully help you understand and to improve your sales skills. daviddufour.com. Check me out if you want to learn about joining my agency. I'll see you there. Bye.